A WWE star has been released by the company, plus some major news. Don't forget, we got a giveaway at 100,000 subscribers. If you guys are interested, you should probably click subscribe now. Welcome to the Ango Show. Yes. All right, guys, I want to kick things off with some very interesting news surrounding WWE Raw. Everybody's kind of wondering what's going to happen to WWE Raw after the USA TV deal expires. And obviously, this is a big concern because there is a chance that WWE Raw might not be broadcasted on television, which is crazy to think about considering the fact that, WWE Raw is moving to Netflix. Now, this is where things get a little tricky. Dave Meltzer had brought up Brandon Thurston's report from WrestleNomics that WWE will not air Raw on USA Network after the deal expires later this year. Dave Meltzer actually says that WWE is planning to announce where it will air from October 1st through December 31st. And nobody really knows what it is. Nobody is really sure if WWE Raw will remain, without a TV deal. Nobody knows if WWE Raw might get picked up by the CW network for 3 months. Nobody knows if the Netflix deal will kick in early. Nobody really knows a damn thing here. And this is actually really insane to think about because if WWE is not on television, obviously SmackDown and NXT is, but if WWE Raw isn't on if WWE Raw isn't on television, but NXT and SmackDown is, I think that's a problem. And that's not a good problem to have. Now, I feel like WWE probably considered this, and WWE probably knows what is bound to be announced because that is essentially what we are waiting for. We are waiting for WWE to announce what will happen to Raw after this situation. But if WWE, let's just say they didn't know what was happening, then doing a new TV deal starting in January of 2025, when your deal expires in like October 2024, that just sounds like a really dumb decision. And I just have a hard time thinking or a hard time believing that that's the situation. I don't think WWE is that dumb, but you never know. Now, the question is, will another company offer WWE money to say, hey, for 3 months, we'll put it on TV? Does WWE go live on Peacock instead? Which, believe it or not, I could actually see that being the case, right? Go live on Peacock for 3 months. First of all, it helps USA Network tremendously. It helps NBC in general because, that way people have to go to Peacock for Monday Night Raw. But it does kind of transition people into this realm of like, hey, WWE Raw isn't on live TV. I think that would be a viewership that would be viewership. That would be very detrimental to the viewership. The word that I want to say, I'm not sure I'm allowed to say, right? But I think it would be, I think it would absolutely kill WWE Raw if you're transitioning from USA Network to Peacock and then to Netflix. Like, I think it's a little too much, right? If it's another TV show, TV network, or a broadcast TV network like the CW where it's accessible to everybody, for 3 months, that's a lot better. Or who knows, maybe WWE Raw goes on YouTube. No, that's not what we want to see. So hopefully they have something in the plans. We'll let you guys know as time goes on. Unfortunately, there's another major change. The WWE network outside of the US will be folding at the end of the year. And this is actually because of the fact that WWE Raw and Netflix have come together. So for those who don't know, basically what's going to happen when WWE moves to Netflix, for the fans in the UK, for the fans in Canada and all these other countries, they aren't going to they're not going to need two separate streaming networks. They're not going to need that because WWE Network will go away. But then if you have Netflix or sign up for Netflix, you will have that library. Basically, the way that it's going to work, I don't know if you'll have the full library, but from my understanding, the way that it's going to work is that Netflix will obviously pick up the Raw, SmackDown, the NXT, stuff like that. From what it sounds like, there's a whole bunch of archives. Obviously, details are kind of shaky on this, but you won't need two streaming apps with the way it sounds right now, which is a good thing. I will tell you guys this. I am definitely shocked by the fact that the WWE network in general never really stuck around. Obviously, here in America too, WWE did the Peacock deal, which I totally understand why they did. But I always felt like it's a little bit shocking to me to see that it never lasted even longer because of the fact that the WWE network was such a monumental thing, right? They had a lot of subscribers on it. But also at the same time too, it is, look, WWE packaging their libraries, WWE packaging their live events and stuff like that, and selling the rights to a TV partner, it makes more sense than having your own network, right? Obviously, we would all hope for TNA and AEW to do the same. For WWE, I find this to be so interesting to me because especially in the UK, they had a different viewing experience than we did in America. So those who had the traditional WWE network had a little bit less issues than we did initially going into Peacock. So like there was things that, like, there was clearly differences between the two apps and the interface, and obviously there was certain content that you were looking for and you couldn't necessarily find it in America, but in the international markets with the WWE network, you absolutely were able to. So definitely one of those things I find interesting, but the WWE network shutting down doesn't, it's a good thing for y'all overseas because you guys don't need it. You'll have the content on Netflix, and I think that's just a pretty big W in general. No need to pay for 2 streaming networks. Guys, WWE has reportedly made the decision to release Kevin Patrick from the WWE. This is a very interesting choice and a very dumb choice, in my opinion. So according to PW Insider, it appears that WWE has officially released Kevin Patrick. He obviously hasn't put out any public comments or anything like that. We knew that he was not going to be part of the SmackDown commentary team. Quite honestly, I think this is a dumb decision. I think Kevin Patrick is a hell of a commentator, and I think Kevin Patrick is a hell of a backstage correspondent. I think Kevin Patrick actually adds value to the WWE product when he's on television, but the internet appears to have won because they believed he sucked. And obviously WWE somewhat agreed with them if they got rid of him. Look, I understand that maybe for play-by-play, he wasn't the best commentator. However, in a company this large, where there's 3 television shows with multiple roles, you're telling me you couldn't find anything else for him to do? He couldn't go back to what he was doing previously as a backstage correspondent or doing kickoff shows? To me, it just sounds a little bit weird. I'm not saying he's the greatest commentator in this world. What I'm saying is he was good at other stuff. If you didn't feel like he was good at this job that you gave him, that you promoted him to because you felt like he was the right man for it, you're telling me you couldn't go back and find him something to do originally like he was originally doing? I'm sorry, but I don't necessarily agree with it. But also at the same time too, Kevin Patrick doing commentary for the MLS Apple TV stuff, he's not going to have a hard time finding another job. He's a very skilled individual. And at the end of the day, it sucks that a release like this has to happen, but it is what it is. And I don't agree with it. And I'm sure a lot of people, they will agree. A lot of people will disagree, but it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, this person was given a promotion to a role that the company felt like he deserved. And when they didn't see him doing good enough in that position that they put him in, they just got rid of him. I don't agree with that. There's other stuff he could do, 1000%. Anyways, this is the Ango Show. I'll see you guys next time.